What's going on, Sagittarius? I hope you are doing very well. This is the Autistic Mystic, and this is going to be a reading for March 2022. So in this reading, Sagittarius, we're going to take a look at your overall general energy and some things you do not see coming for the month ahead, March 2022. You are all very welcome here in this space with me as we go through the reading. Thanks a lot, Sagittarius, for taking the time to drop by and check out the reading. I do really appreciate it. If you find that it resonates with you here, don't forget to like and subscribe as well. I would also really appreciate that. But without further ado here, let's go ahead and jump in to your March 2022 energies. So give me a moment and we'll see what wants to come through. As always, I'd like to thank the angels, the interdimensional beings, and the spirit guides who are overseeing this act of divination for Sagittarius. Two more here, two more. All right, Sagittarius, give me a moment and we'll see what wants to come through. Funny, this Judgment card wanted to jump out. Came out again for you here. Interesting. All right. All right, very interesting energy for you here, Sagittarius, for sure. All right, so let's start off for you here in your overall general energy for March. We have the Judgment card, the Three of Wands, and also the Four of Pentacles up here for your overall energy here in March 2022. So the Judgment card, like I said, wanted to pop out before. You know, the Judgment card is kind of coming through as like, some of you guys might be regretting some time that you wasted in the past. I'm not sure why that's coming through, Sagittarius. Like, you know, the Three of Wands is also your overall general energy. So I think this is making a judgment about your past actions and setting a new course into the future with the Three of Wands, right? The Three of Wands, the overall general energy. You also have the Four of Pentacles here. So this could be quite, you know, in March here for you, Sagittarius. It's almost like you're going to be making a sacrifice, you know, doing something today that your future self will thank you for. And it's something that potentially you knew you should have been doing a long time ago, but now you just finally decide to make a judgment. The Judgment card also is kind of about like hearing the call from the universe to step forward into your highest destiny or the plan that Spirit has for you. There's certainly an element of divine orchestration when it comes to the Judgment card in your overall energy. So I think for you, it all comes to making some sort of practical decision that's actually in alignment for your destiny. So we're going to move back to that when we clarify. But I do like the energy, Sagittarius. It is a good energy. But we move down here to what you don't see coming here in March. And we have the Eight of Wands, the Nine of Swords, and also the High Priestess here. So the Nine of Swords is the centerpiece to this reading. So like I said before, I'm not sure why what you don't see coming. Like, it's almost like some sort of truth is going to hit you like a ton of bricks here. And I feel like it has to do with some sort of action that you did in the past, or it could have just been like an overall habit of like not really stepping into your destiny, not really doing the things you know you should have been doing. But for some reason, the Nine of Swords is like you just can't avoid it anymore here, Sagittarius, is what and the Eight of Wands here is what you don't see coming. So this is an intensification of a conflict here with the Judgment card, and it's like you can't run from this anymore. So this is something that's catching up to you, so to speak, if that makes sense. Not necessarily in a negative way here. I do sense kind of like a lot of regret in your energy, Sagittarius. So what I would say to those of you feeling that way, almost like a fear of missing out, like you're not in the right path. You know, everything is to be gained. Even if you have quote unquote negative experiences that you regret the past, you wish you can go back and you could change the past. you're meant to learn something from your experience. Everything is perfect. Like the universe is cosmically perfect, if that makes sense. So you have the High Priestess and what you don't see coming. So the Nine of Swords, although this is like a deep, painful truth that's coming to the surface with the Judgment card, the High Priestess here is you're ready to dive into it and to really uncover a secret that you've been once again avoiding. So these are two major arcana cards here, Sagittarius. So this could have to do with finally letting yourself move in a direction that just feels good to you, but that doesn't make sense to other people, right? The Nine of Swords could be worrying about what other people are going to think of you, that type of thing. Some of you may be in a relationship that is simply no longer working out. I do feel like that. Like for a lot of you, it's about admitting something in your life is no longer working. And it's almost like you had the foresight to do something about it, you didn't, and now it's coming back to bite you. Hope that makes sense for some of you here. Now we move down to the advice from your spirit guides for the month of March, and we have the Four of Cups, the Temperance, and also the Fool energy. So very interesting energy. You know, the Fool coming out here is definitely to do with this Judgment card. Like it just keeps going back to this Sagittarius. There's some sort of creative bent that you have wanted to do for a long time that you haven't done. So this, I'm not really sensing, like it may not even be a complete career change. Like that may happen down the line, but it's like there's something going on here with your soul, your inner child here, Sagittarius, where you're meant to act on something that brings you joy, that you may look like foolish when you're doing it, right? The advice with the Fool is to not be afraid to look bad in front of other people, because that's the natural process of authenticity, is unfolding that. You also have the Temperance card, though, to the Four of Cups in your advice for the month of March here. So the Temperance card is all about balance, you know, burning off impurities here. And I think this is you stepping into a much more authentic life where you no longer have to cover up yourself with addictions and low frequency stuff, because if you're living a life that you enjoy, that's what it's all about. So it's about moving in that direction of enjoyment. The Four of Cups as well, you have this similar theme in your overall energy. You have the Four of Pentacles, and now the advice is the Four of Cups. So and especially with the Temperance energy here, Sagittarius, there's certainly an element of abstaining from some sort of, I don't want to say addiction, but some sort of behavior that you know your future self is not going to thank you for. Does that make sense, Sagittarius? Like the Judgment card here, it's just a very burning off impurities energy and remaining, like you may have to lay low for a little bit so that you can lay a proper foundation. Now, I know that's not the most exciting thing to hear, but it is what I'm sensing in your reading. But a big decision is definitely being made. You know, it's almost like you're not going to get instant payoff for a lot of you. Like this is like a big decision has to be made that you're not going to feel like it's completely guaranteed that it's going to pay off, but you're going to have to do it anyway. I hope I'm making sense for you, Sagittarius. Let's go ahead and move into the clarification phase of this reading. First card that we're going to clarify is the Judgment card. Why is this here in your overall energy? 3 shuffles for Sagittarius. Last one. Okay, yeah, the Judgment card is clarified by the Receptivity card, guys. So this is all about tapping into your feminine, being very receptive, and that is the theme, right? The Three of Wands to the Four of Pentacles is a rather receptive energy. It's like keeping things, like being ready, though, like the Judgment to the Receptivity, you're no longer running from a certain very important download of information that you're getting about the direction of your life, moving in a certain direction, maybe acting on your passion in a little bit more of an aggressive way here. You're open to it finally. Like you can't ignore this truth of where you need to go staring at you, Sagittarius. So you're finally open to it in March, okay? It's like a truth you can't run from. Let's also go ahead and clarify this this Three of Wands in your overall energy as well. Why is this here for Sagittarius in March? Why is the Three of Wands here for Sagittarius? Okay, so a very interesting message. Yeah, it's exactly in alignment with what I've been feeling. So you have Beyond Illusion is the first card. So there's some sort of illusion of your past of staying in a comfort zone, lying to yourself. You're seeing beyond your own bullshit, and now you're setting a new course with the Three of Wands. But the interesting thing is you also have the Laziness card. In this particular deck, it's almost like the universe called you out, Sagittarius, and instead of running into your shadow, you're finally receptive to this new direction you have to go in, which for a lot of you, I'm not getting it's the most exciting direction, but it is the direction that you need to go in because the universe always knows the path of least resistance, Sagittarius. So it's almost like your ego mind is trying to figure this out, but it doesn't need to, okay? You just need to go with the flow where the universe is guiding you. So Beyond Illusion to the Laziness card, very interesting. Let's go ahead and move on to the centerpiece of your reading. Why is the Nine of Swords here in your energy of what you don't see coming? So this is a deep realization, like you may be hit with this energy, like you need to do something with it, although you've been suppressing it before then, Sagittarius. Let's see any more information about the Nine of Swords, please. Okay, yeah, the Nine of Swords is here because you have clinging to the past card. So there's a lot of like, you know, with the Judgment card, clinging to the past now, laziness, you know, the Nine of Swords is here in what you don't see coming. I think there's a real pull with whatever habit you got going on, like whatever excuse that you're telling yourself, Sagittarius, about why you're not acting on your highest excitement at all times with zero insistence on a potential outcome. Like you need to live your life your own way, and clinging to the past simply is not going to work for you anymore. So for some of you, this could have to do with a person. For others of you, it could have to do with an addiction to a really bad habit, or just like a little bit of a bad habit. But sometimes those bad habits that don't kill you, they're less obvious, so you get stuck to them for longer. I hope that makes sense, Sagittarius. All right. Let's go ahead and clarify this. And I think the Eight of Wands is just telling you you can't stay. Things are going to be moving. You're going to be getting downloads, right? The Eight of Wands to the Judgment card, and receptivity. Like the universe is going to be communicating the hell with you. Like so much communication with the universe from your spirit guides in March is the opportunity, especially with this High Priestess. So let's see why this High Priestess is here for you, though, Sagittarius, in what you don't see coming. It's almost like utter clarity is coming your way. You've been confused in what direction you need to move in. Now that's coming to an end. You're going to have clarity this month, I believe. Now, clarity is a double-edged sword, though. Okay, the High Priestess is clarified by the Compromise card here. Compromise, okay? So, you know, I think you're going to be getting downloads about how you've been compromising your best interests for so long. You know, certain people that you may behave a certain way around just to please them. You know, the receptivity to the Judgment card, once again, it's about this big understanding that you've been acting inauthentically, Sagittarius. So no more compromising. I think the High Priestess is going to, you may have to be cutting off some people, right? Because number 6 is all about stability. In what you don't see coming. So there could be a conflict, like as you get these downloads, your behavior may change, which then causes you to downsize. Because this month for you, it's all about downsizing, right? The Four of Pentacles to the Four of Cups here. Fool could also just be letting go of baggage, right? Temperance. So it's not necessarily about adding on in March, Sagittarius. It's very deep purge though, which is very necessary for you moving forward. But let's go ahead and move down here. Let's clarify, why is this Fool card here? In the advice position from your spirit guides. Let's go ahead and see. Why is the Fool here? Okay, the Fool card is clarified by the Stress card here. So clearly moving in this direction, this new direction is going to be very stressful for you. So the universe is saying, hey, we know that it's scary. We know that you may be doing the thing that doesn't make sense to your physical brain, but makes sense when it comes to the soul. So especially with letting go of compromise, all of us, we do what we do because it brings us some sort of pleasure. So when you let go of like a pleasure system, you may be like lacking dopamine in March because it's like a dopamine detox type of energy, Sagittarius. I hope that makes sense. But whatever this purge is, it's going to be very stressful. Okay, at least at first. I think Spirit is just saying expect it, Sagittarius. Okay, not that it's going to stay that way forever. It's always hardest in the beginning. Okay, that's like a little proverb, that's a universal principle. It's always hardest in the beginning. Momentum is very important in this reality. But let's go ahead and also clarify this Temperance card. Why is this here in the advice from Spirit for you? Okay, the Temperance card is clarified by the Moment to Moment card. So yeah, it's exactly, so you have the Two of Pentacles here in the advice. So what you're moving into, Sagittarius, like it's going to feel like you're doing nothing. Like it's going to feel like for some of you, your ego is going to tell you, I'm not doing enough, I'm retracting, I'm going backwards. But going backwards is what's necessary to clear the path sometimes. So this is all about owning up to something, a deep realization about the direction of your life, moving in a new direction, but like it's only going to work if you can own up to the fact that you haven't been as authentic as you needed to be, is really the message coming through. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the Oracle card portion of this reading. Let's just get some closing messages from your angels. And based on everything I've said in this reading up until this point, any closing remarks for Sagittarius, please? Let's go ahead and see what wants to come through. Anything that needs to come through. Okay, Sagittarius. So the first card that wanted to come out is actually the Yes card, which is a beautiful energy. So we have the Yes card right here, and I feel like this is just Spirit. Essentially, if this reading has been resonating with you, it's saying, yes, Sagittarius, this message is for you about the authenticity, about making a judgment on your past, letting go. Now, it's a beautiful message as well. Big, happy changes, and that's exactly what's going on. Big happy changes, because it's not going to seem like that at first, but it actually is. It's something that develops. It's something that you're doing something today that your future self will thank you for. And then synchronistically enough, we have meditation brings answers. And that's really what March is going to be all about for you guys, right? You have receptivity to the Judgment card, Temperance, Eight of Wands. This is classic download energy, so to speak, and High Priestess. So this is, and Beyond Illusion. So like, you're going to be getting so much information about what you need to do in March. This is only the beginning. This reading is like the beginning of the snowball effect for you in March. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this reading, Sagittarius. I am going to conclude it here. If you want more information on your situation, feel free to book a personal reading with me. You can find all the information on that in the description box underneath this video. It's always an honor to work with you guys. But either way, I hope you enjoy your March, and I will talk to you next time. Peace.